What is up guys, Simon from pianopig.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to play one of the most commonly heard diminished scale patterns. It's one of those ones which, once it's in your head and you know how to play it, you will hear it everywhere. It's just part of the jazz language, and if you're a jazz cat or aspiring to be a jazz cat, then I highly recommend adding this bit of language into your vocabulary. If you'd like the notation of this lick to go along with this lesson, you can download that for free via my website, and there's a link in that in the description below. And as always, if you get value from this video, as well as all the other stuff on my channel, and you really want to level up your playing, then definitely consider joining my membership, the Pianopig Academy. You can find all the details over at pianopig.com. Let's do it! Okay, so let's begin by quickly going over what the diminished scale is all about. And we're actually going to be using the half-whole diminished scale, also known as the dominant diminished scale. It's constructed by alternating between a half step and a whole step. So if we start on C, go up a half step, half, whole, half, whole, half, and whole. That gives us the C half-whole diminished scale. Something to keep in mind is that the half-whole diminished scale works over dominant chords. So this scale we just played would work very nicely over a C dominant 7. And for the purpose of this lesson, we're just going to play this diminished pattern over dominant chords. So the great thing about diminished scales are the fact that they are symmetrical, just like the chromatic scale is symmetrical, and also the whole tone scale. The diminished scale has a symmetrical pattern, and this allows us to come up with some really cool licks that we can quite often keep on repeating across the entire keyboard. It also means that there are only 3 of these scales. Let me show you what I mean, and then we'll learn how to play this pattern. If we start on C, we get this. If we start on D flat, we get this. If we start on D, we get this. But if we start on E flat, that's actually the same scale as the C half-whole diminished. Hopefully that made it clear. So we'll talk a bit more about that near the end of the video and how we can use it to our advantage. But for now, let's learn how to play this pattern. This is what it's going to look like. We can break it down to quite a simple formula. This is the only pattern we really need to learn. We're starting on the first note of the scale. We follow the scale up 1 note, and then we jump up, missing 2 notes of the scale. Then we just repeat this pattern, but the first 2 notes of the next pattern need to be those 2 notes that we jumped over. So we played the first mini pattern, and then we repeated it by using the 2 notes that we jumped over. And then obviously we need to jump over 2 notes again in order to create that same pattern that we had before. And then we do this again. The 2 notes that we skipped are the first 2 notes of the next pattern. and we just repeat this. And by the time we're here, we're actually just back to the start. It might take a while to get your head around, and you might have to take it slowly to begin with. But once you have it under your fingers, it's unbelievably fun to play. A useful little tip to make it sound a bit better is to try and accent the higher notes. So I'll exaggerate just to show you what I mean. It's these higher notes, so that note, that note, that note, and if you can do that subtly, then it really takes it to another level. So to finish off, I just want to explain which pattern you can play over which dominant chords. Obviously, we were just using the C half-whole diminished scale, which works over a C dominant 7. But as we learnt earlier, there are only 3 of these scales and 12 dominant chords. So that means we're going to be able to use that same pattern over multiple dominant chords. So let's try it over an E-flat dominant 7. The pattern is going to be exactly the same. We'll start on the E-flat this time, but everything else is identical. And let's try it over a G-flat dominant 7. The same again. And one more time over an A dominant 7. So it's really worth getting familiar with the 3 different diminished families so that you can make the most out of these patterns. This has actually made me realise I don't yet have a video on the diminished families, so I'll make sure to get that uploaded for you guys very soon. So that's pretty much it for this one. Your task is to try and incorporate that lick into your dominant improvisation. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time.